Hi, welcome back to Garden of the Moors. This week we're in Crete looking for flowers and other wildlife, so let's see what we can find. It's October here in Crete, and just behind me is this gorgeous gorge. It's absolutely enormous, and what that means is that you get different light on different sides of the gorge. It's nice and humid in there, and there has been quite a lot of rain recently in the past few weeks, which is great for the plants. With it being October, we've had all of summer, which has burnt off a lot of the vegetation, so the ground is nice and open. Those rains then trigger plants into action, and there are lots of flowers, the ones that we're looking for, that use this opportunity of, basically they've got all of the pollinators they could possibly want because they're the ones coming up and starting off life. You can see around me all these bushes have dried up, burned off, they've used up all their energy during summer, and there's this space between them for smaller flowers to grow. And as the rains come, more vigorous plants like grasses and things will take over and crowd out anything else that's growing, but you'll have more competitive plants then. So what have we found then? In this gorge we found three amazing plants. So the first one we found is called, now my Latin isn't very good, Baiarium Devisii, which is basically a tiny little arum lily. It's like this, a bit like cuckoo pint at home or lords and ladies at home, with nice spadix and everything like that. And it's just tiny. What it looks like is a tiny little snail in the ground, and they're dotted all over. They're really rare and endemic to Crete, so it was so good to have found one. We also found Narcissus obsoletus, which is a lovely little delicate daffodil perched right on the edge of a cliff. You might remember it if you've seen our video that we did in Cyprus last year. So really lovely paper white daffodil, gorgeous. And then lastly, we found one of the yellow Sternbergias, which are very similar to crocus. They're an autumn flowering type, crocusy type thing, basically. But absolutely beautiful, lovely lemon yellow petals, and just like what we'd grow at home, but in spring. On our way around, we've seen loads of really good birds as well. The best standout bird has to be the vultures. We've seen hundreds of them, big swirling flocks in the thermals of these huge griffon vultures. Absolutely amazing. They've been flying just over our heads like a great display of the bird. And we've seen these big flocks. I think the most we counted was 30 griffon vultures in one swarming, circling like massive vultures. It was awesome, so cool. And in there was also a lammergeier, which is a gorgeous vulture, one I've never seen before. And what they do is they'll wait for everybody else to finish up the meat on the carcass, things like the vultures and the crows, things like that. And the lammergeier, the bearded vulture, will come down, take a bone, take all the bones, take a bone, the biggest one it can find, carry it high up into the sky and drop it on a rock so that it smashes, and then it eats the bone and digests all the marrow and all the other nutrients and things that are locked in that bone. And that's what they specialize in. They're so cool. Their stomach acid is pH 1, so I don't think you can get any more acid than that. Like, that's just crazy. So that's how they can burn it. But to be able to fly with that much weight on you as well, just crazy. And they're very pretty birds. So really pleased to have found them. Some other things we found have been blue rock thrush, which are pretty much everywhere we've gone, we've seen them. And they've been very vocal at the minute, singing away and competing with each other, which has just been gorgeous. Just in the trees here, we're in a bit more of a piney area, as you can see behind me. And we have some woodlarks that are singing as well, which is just fab. Back at where we're staying, there are crested larks. And yeah, just all around goodness. It's just wonderful. Really nice to come visit. Now, these are the real stars of the show. This is a gorgeous, enormous autumn flowering crocus, the colchicum, whatever it is. I'll put the text in. I'm not very good at Latin. But you can see this gorgeous flower, which is full of pollinating insects. We've seen all sorts of different butterflies. There's ants crawling in them, flies and things, but they're absolutely gorgeous. Here's a little blue butterfly coming through now. They have their leaves in spring, so there's lots of water then, lots of sunshine, and then they'll die off in the summer's heat. The first rains of autumn will trigger this beautiful, just almost a carpet of this lovely pink and purple autumn crocus. What a sight. They're just all along here through this olive grove, and it's just full of them, and it's absolutely stunning. So yeah, what a treat. Well, we're back now. We had a fabulous time in Crete. It was just brilliant. We loved it, and I was so inspired by those crocuses out there, especially that carpet of autumn flowering crocuses underneath that olive grove. It was just gorgeous. So what I've done is this year I've planted some new bulbs, new crocus bulbs that I've got into pots. So I've got two sort of blue varieties and a yellow variety. So I'm hoping that they'll look really nice in the pots because they'll be really distinct. And then what I'm also going to do is plant some of the old bulbs that we used to have in pots. They were getting a bit tired now, and I sort of modelled up what the colours are and all this, that and the other. So I'm going to plant them into the grass, sort of naturalise them. And where I'm thinking is on top of this bank here. The reason being is that the grass never really grows that long there. It's always quite fine, even when it does grow. It's really free draining, and for me that seems like the most logical place to plant them. So let's get them in. So in my little pot here I've got lots of different varieties. As you can see, they're starting to grow themselves, but basically what I did was, once the pots with the bulbs had finished for the spring, I then took them out, put them into plastic containers so I could reuse the pots, and just let these die back naturally. So they should, hopefully, at least some of them should flower again next year, and then we'll be able to just do their normal things. But this is several years worth of crocus bulbs, well, corms they're called, corms these are, but several years worth, so they're all mixed up into there, so I don't really know what's what. And what I like in a pot display is like a real all one colour, and they're really like, you know, really vibrant. So these can just go straight into the ground. And what's best to do is to have little clusters around basically. So I'm going to be using my little bulb planter and then putting a few in at a time. So yeah, we'll just dig and drop basically. So the grass here I sort of leave long over the summer, whereas I'd quite like these to be in the shorter grass, so I'm going to go more up here sort of, and hopefully can get in. I need to be about 8 to 10 centimeters deep, which is about there. You can hear it's quite gritty. It's just gritty, not stony, so there is lots of soil there. And then I reckon a hole like that, if I put in 3, and I mean they do kind of look like, these look quite similar, don't they? So I think I could probably start making a little cluster of similar look. So they're like yellowy, whereas these are sort of white, the sprout. And I've got some that are more pale, more bulby. I don't know. There could be other bulbs in here as well, but I think they are all crocuses. These are definitely crocuses. I'm happy with them. So I reckon if I put those 3 in there, so I want to make sure that the bottom bit there is at the bottom, because that's where the roots will come out from, and space them like that. I think that's pretty good. So there's only 3 there, but they will all being well expand out and make more little crocuses as we go. So then we start getting little clusters, and then all I've got to do is, because I've got it in this nice tube, is just open it up and it just goes in like a little plug like that. Perfect. So I've just got to do that another, well, what do we think, 15-20 times? They'll be there. Now the only thing is because I want it to look at least semi-natural, but as naturalistic as possible, so I don't want it to be too ordered. So I want to try and like mix and match the spacings between them, So I'll probably try and do one here, one there, maybe one there, and try and spread them, you know, like that, so that they look like they haven't been planted. They just look like they just naturally came here by themselves. So that's the aim. So I'll probably do one, maybe the next one here, and that was a sort of yellowy one, wasn't it? So if I do these ones as like that sort of whitey sprout, and then if I can get some with some of the smaller bulbs as well, like maybe like that one, then I could probably squeeze in 4, and then it looks less organised. It's not just 3s everywhere, it is just little groups, and then easy as that. So I'm going to carry on with that, and I will try and make sure that we get some lovely shots of these next spring. So we're in autumn now, we've got a long winter ahead of us, so hopefully this time in spring we'll have a gorgeous bank of crocuses, and they'll be opening up in the sun, and the first little bumblebees of the year will be coming along and feeding up on the crocus flowers. That's the plan. So see you next time. There we are. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give a big like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.